Hey guys, welcome back. In this Blender video, we're going to model a wire rope clamp. First, we'll start with the main shape and build it using different techniques and a clean workflow. Once that's achieved, we'll move on to the threads and see how to add them nicely and get them done. Once that's done, we'll model the nut and finish things up. So without wasting any time, let's jump right in. First, I found a reference image, so I'll add it here. Place the reference image in the center and make sure this line is aligned with the middle line. Then duplicate the image, rotate it, and on the side view, place the side image in the center as well. Once the reference images are placed perfectly, we'll add a torus mesh. Over here in the corner panel, align the torus mesh to the view. Scale the torus to match the image by changing the major radius. Here, let's adjust the segments. We'll keep the minor segments at 16. To see the mesh more clearly, I'll enable wireframe view. And here, we'll set the major segments to 48. Now select the bottom half of the torus mesh and delete it. Let's select these vertices and extrude them all the way down to here. Add a loop cut over here. Then change the snapping type to vertex. Add another loop cut on the other side and snap it to the vertex of the other loop cut so they line up. Add a loop cut over here and add one on the other side as well. Select these faces all around on both sides. Duplicate them, and then press P to separate them by selection. Go to the separated mesh. First, change the pivot point to individual origins so we can scale both sides at the same time. From the side view, scale this according to the hole there in the reference image. Now press Alt-E and choose Extrude Along Normals. Extrude this out according to the side of the reference image. Select these faces over here, and on the other side, select the same number of faces. Go over here and choose Bridge Edge Loops. This will bridge and connect both sides. In the middle, add a loop cut. Here, select this edge, and on the bottom, select this one as well. Then dissolve both of them. Add a loop cut over here. Turn on Auto Merge so the vertices will merge. Then move this vertex and snap it to this one here. And on the top, do the same thing. Next, let's cut the shape in the middle using a Boolean. So add a cylinder mesh, which we'll use as the cutter object. Change the vertex count to 16 and align the cylinder to the view. Scale the cylinder and position it exactly where we want to cut the mesh. Select half of the cylinder mesh and extrude it up. Then scale the cylinder completely out of the mesh so it fits through the full mesh and cuts it perfectly. With that done, select the cutter mesh. Then select the main mesh that we want to cut. Press Ctrl-Shift-B to bring up the Bool tool panel and choose Difference. Make sure you have the Bool tool add-on enabled in Preferences. And as you can see, it has cut the mesh. Here, select these faces and scale them to make this hole a little wider. Now, let's apply the Boolean modifier. Add a cut over here in the middle. Then, here, connect these vertices. Next, let's bend this part to create the slope. First, place the 3D cursor on this edge by pressing Shift-S and choosing Cursor to Selected. This is where the mesh will bend from. Select these faces that need to be bent. Change the pivot point to 3D cursor. And to bend this cleanly, we'll use the Shear tool, which you'll find in the side toolbar. Select one of the handles on the gizmo and drag it to bend the mesh. Then, in the corner panel, we can tweak it a little more accordingly. Next, let's build the topology over here. So add 2 loop cuts here. Then connect these 2 vertices. Add 2 vertices over here by pressing Ctrl-R. Then connect these vertices. Here, connect these vertices like this, the way I'm doing it to fix this area. Slide this vertex and merge it. Slide these vertices to space over here nicely. At the bottom, dissolve this edge, and here, we'll do something like this to fix the area using the knife tool. Add 2 loop cuts, then connect these vertices here. Here, slide and merge this vertex. Then add a loop cut over here and connect these vertices. Here, we can do something like this to fix this area using the knife tool. Here, select both of these vertices and press M and merge them at the center. Over here, add a loop cut, and then connect these vertices. Here, add one more loop cut. Over here, we can directly slide and merge these vertices. And we'll dissolve these edges that we added here. Add a loop cut over here, and then connect these vertices. And over here as well, add a cut and connect these vertices. Add 2 loop cuts here. And now, this is connected perfectly cleanly. Now, select the full mesh, and let's use Symmetrize to mirror the detail to the other side. Use it one more time to mirror it to the other direction. And now, everything is fine and looks good. Here at the bottom, we'll actually do it like this. And now, it looks fine there. Use Symmetrize again to mirror it. Now, let's bevel all the sharp edges. Before that, press Shift-N to flip the normals. Also apply the scale so we don't have any problems. Now, quickly select all the sharp edges by going to Select and choosing Sharp Edges. Check if everything is selected properly. After that, bevel all the edges. Here, set the profile shape to 1. Turn off Loop Slide, and also change this to Arc. But this isn't really needed because there are no rounded corners on this mesh. Shade the object smooth, add a subdivision surface modifier, and now we have perfectly modeled this part. Next, let's add the threads for this. First, select and delete these faces. Select this edge and then move it down a little bit. First, press Shift-S and choose Cursor to Selected to place the 3D cursor in the middle here. Select this vertex, duplicate it, and then press P and choose Selection to separate it into a new object. Select that new vertex object and in edit mode, extrude it down a little bit. Now to create the screw, we'll add a screw modifier. Choose the correct axis on which the screw will rotate. For it to rotate exactly around the middle, we need to place the origin point in the center here. Since we already have the 3D cursor placed in the middle, go to Object, Set Origin, Origin to 3D Cursor. This places the origin right there, so the screw rotates perfectly around the center. Here in the middle, add a vertex cut using Ctrl-R. Then move this vertex forward to achieve this thread profile shape. Here, we'll adjust the screw value to set the exact height of one single loop. To get a perfect connection with no gaps, press N to open the side panel. Copy the height dimension of your object and paste it right here in screw value. Then turn on merge as well, so the vertices are merged together. Next, let's adjust the iterations value to choose how many times we want this loop to repeat. Increase the count until we reach the end of the screw in the reference image. Here, you can make some further adjustments to make the screw threads look more perfect by tweaking this a little bit. So I'll do that. Here, to get a perfect thread profile, I'll add vertex cut here, then press Ctrl-Shift-B to bevel this vertex. Then move this vertex forward to achieve the profile we want. Once everything looks good, let's apply the screw modifier. After that, select the full mesh, press M, and choose Merge by Distance to remove any overlapping vertices. Next, let's fix this mesh over here. Select this full edge loop and deselect these edges. Then extrude this upward. Press SZ0 to flatten this, then move and position it nicely. Here, delete this face. Select all these edges and press F to fill. Connect these vertices. Dissolve this edge loop from this point, and then add it back nicely. Then connect these vertices like this. Here, we want to curve this to achieve that sloped curve. To do that quickly, place the 3D cursor on this vertex where the curve starts. Select all the vertices that we want to curve. Set the pivot point to 3D cursor. Then select the shear tool from the toolbar. Tweak one of these handles and drag it. Whichever direction works for you, use the correct handle. For me, this handle works, so I'll use this one. We can further tweak it from the corner panel. Here, slide and merge this vertex, then select and slide these vertices like this. Let's add a subdivision surface modifier, and that looks good there. At the bottom, we'll repeat the same steps we did at the top, but in the opposite way. So repeat the exact same steps. Okay, so this part is done. Select this loop cut, and let's move it down a little bit. Press F to fill this at the bottom, and then inset it inwards. Let's move it slightly up, and then inset it a little again. After that, use grid fill. Align the edges straight at the bottom. Select this edge loop, and let's bevel it. activate the subdivision surface modifier, and we can see this looks good. We can also select this full edge loop and bevel it to keep it more sharper. But we won't do that, we'll keep it as it is. Next, let's connect this with the other top mesh, select both of them, and press J to join them. Let's move this edge loop up, then select both of these edge loops, and over here let's use bridge edge loops. Slide and merge this over here. Select the whole mesh and press Shift-N to recalculate the normals. Let's add 2 edge loops over here. Shade smooth the object. Select the whole mesh and let's use symmetrize to mirror it onto the other side. Add a subdivision surface modifier. And that looks good. And this part is done. Next, let's model the nut at the bottom. For that, select this edge loop of this mesh. Duplicate it and separate it by selection to create a new object. We did this so the nut and the threads have the same number of vertices and are positioned and aligned in the same place. Move the separated edge circle all the way down to where the nut is. Let's extrude it up. Press Alt-E and choose Extrude Along Normals to extrude it a little. Select these faces and scale them inwards so they sit slightly inside the other mesh. This will allow the thread details from the other mesh to be cut into the inside of the nut. So to make that cut, let's use the Boolean modifier. With the eyedropper, select the threads mesh. And as you can see, the thread details are now transferred from the other mesh onto the nut. With that done, let's apply the Boolean modifier. Let's select the whole mesh and press M and choose Merge by Distance to merge the overlapping vertices. Here, after the Boolean operation, some floating vertices are left behind. We'll fix those later. Before that, first let's create the outer hexagonal shape of the nut. Delete these outer faces. Select this full edge loop. Press Shift-S and choose Cursor to Selected to place the 3D cursor in the middle there. Now let's add a circle mesh. In the corner panel, change the vertex count to 6 to get that hexagonal shape. Scale it inwards. Then let's extrude it up and snap it to the top. Subdivide this so we can connect it to the other mesh properly. Since the vertex count on both meshes is not equal, we'll connect them like this. Select these edges and press F to fill. On the other side, fill it the same way. Since the vertex count is not equal here, dissolve these edges. Then add only one edge and fill this like this. On the other side, do the same thing to fill it. Select these faces, duplicate them, move them to the top, and snap them there to fill this area. Let's bevel all the sharp edges. Go to Select and choose Sharp Edges to select them. Unselect these middle section edges because we don't want to bevel them. Now, bevel these edges. And that looks good there. Next, we'll fix the middle section where there are some floating vertices. Here, select this vertex, then slide and merge it like this. Slide and merge the others the same way. After merging the vertices, a triangle will form there. To get rid of it, we can add a loop cut there, which will turn it into a quad. We'll add the cut after we merge all the other vertices. So merge all the other vertices wherever they are the same way. At the bottom, merge them the same way. After merging them all, we can add a loop cut where the triangle is present to turn it into a quad. And this loop will flow all the way to the top where the top triangle is present. Add loop cuts where the other triangles are present as well. We can also do something like this to minimize the number of cuts we're adding. To keep this part sharp, we can add a loop cut, or we can just select these edges and bevel them. Make sure you select them carefully because they are really close together. After that, bevel them just a tiny bit. Here, we can add one more loop cut, and that's good there. At the bottom, do the same thing. Select these edges and bevel them. And now, this looks good, and this nut is done. We can add a mirror modifier for the nut to create the copy on the other side. And now we have modeled this completely cleanly, and this part is done. All right, so that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed the video, picked up some useful modeling techniques, and found the whole modeling process easy to follow. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, comment below and let me know your feedback. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.